Yo, 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 what's up, and welcome to a new edition of Black Box Beat. We got that word on the street. Yes, it has officially been a week since our last show. Oh my goodness, with all this market action, it seems like an eternity. I'm Kang.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Hells.
Well, it has definitely been an interesting couple of months, and it's going to be an even more interesting couple of weeks coming up, right? So we are right in the beginning of the most busiest part of earnings season. So the question is, during this earnings palooza, are we going to pump up or are we going to pump down? What do you guys got for us?
I think that given the subliminal message that you're trying to send with that red on, that we're going to go down. That's what I'm thinking. I think
Oh
Maria
man,
is trying to tell us that she thinks it's going down. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
no subliminal messages. I couldn't find anything else to wear. And I was running short on time. My hair wasn't working. I'm like, red it is, red it is.
Oh,
That's all there is to it. Right.
Um, I mean, it's like to me, it's like levitating markets. We've been, especially around this 4150, 55 area for the last few sessions. I mean, we have been moving up on the, net basis, but it's just been kind of like the volume has been anemic. And personally, I base a lot of my trades off of volume and looking for volume on breaks and nice continued Momo, and it's just like you'll get this very, very low volume. So I know personally that is one thing I'm ready for that to change.
yeah. It's like, what are you going to say about where we are? It's like we had nothing but doom and gloom for the last month from anybody who who had a freaking mouth to open, including myself, and I think Kang also. It's like, and we sat there and we ran 300 points. So here we are, coming into an earning season to where a lot of these companies, they're really going to have to knock it out of the park in order for us to maintain these levels. And I think that's really what we're looking at is are they meeting expectations? Is anybody going to beat expectations? It's like I don't know that we've really seen a lot of folks come out and actually beat and be like, wow, because we all remember back in the day, you get some of these numbers coming in, you're like, oh my God, how did they possibly do something like that? Where did they find an extra couple of $1 billion laying around? That's not really the case as far as what we're seeing so far. It's just kind of like, okay, how the bar has been set so low that if companies don't get close, it's like, hey, I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking that companies really have to do well and exceed expectations substantially in order for us to make that next leg up.
And I tend to agree with you. I think we're kind of in a position where companies that do report are really going to have to come out and wow us, right? I feel like everybody's really, really skeptical. Nobody wants to see a barely a beat. Nobody wants to see barely a guide up. We want to see some out of the park kind of numbers so that we can feel good about it. I will say though, in addition to obviously earnings being primary focus over these next couple of weeks, one interesting theme, at least that we've been talking about, is this whole telehealth move into weight management, right? So we've talked about this before. And weight management is that new hot buzzword, right? So if you guys remember T-Doc yesterday, that news dropped. They're going to now be offering weight management medications, and the thing took off. Those contracts, I believe, were over 100% in a couple of minutes. It was really crazy. So I think that's just another aspect. But as far as earnings are concerned, I absolutely agree. Um, the companies that we rely on to kind of push us up are really going to have to do a stellar job with earnings.
I think Netflix was an interesting example of that last night. It's like they come in with less than expected subs. They didn't lose as much money as they normally did because they cut their film slate substantially, basically offering less to their consumer. They guided down for Q2 and said that, oh no, we're on pace for year end guidance, but didn't say how. And the monkey sat there and bought it off of 300 all the way up to 335, 336. In the same 15 minutes, and it sells down just a smidge today. So it's like I don't think anybody knows where we are or where we're going. It's almost like, you wake up from a bender in Vegas and you're looking around the room going, what the hell happened? Where am I? What's going on? That really feels like the market environment that we're in right now. What the hell's going on and where are we going?
So Mario, when you said the weight management tickers, the first thing I thought of was McDonald's. You hear about that story where the dude's like eating half sizes of McDonald's and he's lost like
Yes.
50 pounds?
On TikTok, I actually watched some of those. Somebody brought that up. Jenny brought that up in our room yesterday. So I watched that. Is that not crazy?
I mean, I'm like, yeah, portion control, but still, I would have never thought that would happen
No.
with McDonald's. I'm like,
And what's
four full port McDonald's.
right. And what's even crazier is my first question was, okay, Grant, let's say he lost some weight. What's his cholesterol look like? What does his blood work look like?
Hmm.
And Jenny said that his cholesterol actually dropped. And I'm like,
Wow.
that is crazy. I don't think that's going to work for everybody, but I mean, more power to him.
Yeah, for real. And just to talk about us being kind of at extremes, I think this has been like the most hated rally out there. And I was gonna mention some of these bearish indicators. I mean, B of A, their fund managers are the most bearish of the year. The AII bearish sentiments above the historical average. JP Morgan saying 95% of investors see the market falling in 23. So you've got this like all this bearishness that's going on. But as I'm looking, and that might be more so for the long term, like, between now and the end of the year. But like right now at this moment, I was looking at that versus fear and greed, and we're like almost like at the top end of greed. Like we're almost
Yeah.
into extreme territory. So it's so crazy, like how we've got this gulf between, both sides right now as we've continued to move higher and kind of right here how we've stalled out.
Yeah.
Not only that, interesting time right now. We're coming up on what is it? Sell and May go away. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
Hell, Kang?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing a sell in May and go away, or are we just gonna rally? I feel like right now it doesn't matter what we do. We kind of just want to go up.
I
It,
mean, by the dip has lived. I mean, it's resilient. It's super resilient.
it's really hard from a psychological standpoint. It's like if these earnings don't come in great, it's like what are you buying? Especially when it's like you're looking at moving forward the consumer. It's like they've never been in more debt. Their savings has never been depleted. Within reason. In your time, it's like so. What are they going to buy? What are they going to do? It's like what are we going to be as we push into Q4 when you're kind of looking? It's like okay, so how are we going to close out the year? It seems like we keep on kicking the can down the road in every capacity, and eventually it's going to come home to roost. The flip side of that is, and we've seen it happen a million times, when everybody's bearish, when everybody has something to say, is like, oh, we're going to like 2000 on the SPX, we're going to zero. It's like when you get too many of those cats popping off their dumb mouths, we go up. We
Right.
go up with reckless abandon because there's a lot of idiot bear to go ahead and smash. It's like the
Mhm.
more idiot bear that they can squeeze, the more that they will. It's like the algos will fire, just the way it is. So
Yep.
let's see
Hey,
how
but
these
there,
heroes.
but now at these highs, there's a lot of people saying now that we need to continue to go up. So I mean, it can work on the other side too. It can
I
work
don't
on
know
the
what
other
to do.
side
It's
too.
like honestly, man. Like, it's like just like fine, whatever, guys. I'll be over here. I got trees to chop. It's like I'm not screwing with y'all right
Right.
now.
That's great.
Hell's with the wood. You heard it here, folks. Hell's with the wood.
All day, every day.
All right, we are ready for my favorite part of the show, which is shag, marry, kill. Um, I mean, we don't really have to go back over the rules, do we? You guys understand.
No,
Shag means we like it short term. Marry, we like
no.
it long term. Kill, we hate it. Kang, what do you got for us?
So for me, it's this rising wedge on Apple. Now I was looking at this on the longer time frames, and I'm not necessarily ready to say one direction or the other, but I do think that Apple is really the key to the market in terms of sentiment. I mean, it's in everything, right? So as we're kind of hovering up here, I'm not convinced of one direction or the other. Now that chart pattern is generally bearish, but that doesn't mean that it has to go lower. So personally, I'm just waiting patiently. I have alerts set in those areas. I'm ready to shag it in one direction or the other when we get some Momo. Like I said, I think maybe selling May kicks it off. Who knows? But I'm ready to get busy with it in one direction or the other.
I like it.
Well, it's going to go somewhere. So I guess we'll,
It's
it's
getting
like
tight.
it's not going to like just freeze and not trade at all. So yeah, no, it's like Apple. Everything you said is true about Apple. I think yeah,
I mean,
can't.
I'm not Miss Cleo, so I can't I can't say where it's gonna go, but it's
You
getting
guys
It's
should
tight
have
at
funny
like
least
an
because
from here.
inside
like
track.
it's like that's one of the
Yeah.
most risingest wedges I've ever seen. It just keeps on rising. It's like the most risingest wedge that's ever existed, and it might do more risingest wedges all the way up and over 200 for all we know. It's like what the hell?
There you
Yeah,
Right.
go. There you
I'm
go.
with you both though. I'm waiting to see which way it wants to go. We've got ER coming up later than normal this quarter. I would have expected them to be like next week or the following week. I believe they are the first week of May. So a little bit later than what we typically have. So regardless, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a run up. But I'm with y'all. I think just be prepared for whichever direction it decides it wants to go.
There we go.
How about you, Hellsbells? What do you have for us today?
Look, it's like psychologically and looking at the market, it's like I don't. I've been looking for some type of a pullback and haven't really gotten anything of any substance. So I'm kind of reworking my mindset to where I'm going to try to be as nimble as I can for the next couple of weeks until we clear these ERs. It's like with options flow that we have with Blackbox, I can literally sit there and pull 15 to 20% out of the air on a daily basis on pretty much anything that comes through the pipe. There's probably 10 to 15 opportunities to do that. I'm going to focus on sitting there just knocking some singles and not get in and try to swing anything until this dust settles. I don't, this is one of the few times within the market that I'm looking at it, just going, this just looks dumb. It smells dumb. It tastes dumb. Everything is dumb. I don't want to put money to work when I feel like everything is dumb, because if it doesn't pan out, then I'm going to feel even dumber than I did before. So I'm going to be looking to take advantage of whatever I can intraday within the market until this thing kind of gets to a point where I can be like, okay, I get it. Right now, I don't. So I'm not into swinging anything at the moment.
Hey, I
I
agree
agree with
with
you.
you. Yeah.
Go for it.
I
Go for it,
mean,
gang.
no, hey, I agree. It's just like, what are you gonna do? It's like,
I don't know. It's like look, it'd be one thing, guys, if it were like if I have conviction, and you guys have known me long enough, right? I always have conviction in pretty much everything that I do. It's like when I can't find conviction within a narrative, if I can't find conviction necessarily in the charts or conviction in the flow, it's like what am I doing? It's like I'm chasing my tail. I don't see the point in doing that when I know I can snatch 15 to 20% out of the air on a daily basis and get back out on the other side. It's like sitting there trying to gear up for the home run ball. It's like this is not a home run environment for me. I got to cool out.
nothing
Uh,
wrong with
I'm
that.
I'm with y'all. The market is definitely a shag. Keep your eyes open. Stay on your toes. For myself, I picked Nvidia. As you guys know, we all have a love-hate relationship with Nvidia. Nvidia is a cautious shag for me right now. You'll see. Well, let me rewind. On Friday, they bought the June 242 half calls. It was a single line item for almost $14 million, and I think that's probably the largest single line item I've ever seen come into Nvidia. We've seen multiple orders add up to a lot, right? What we've never seen is what was it, 13.89 million on one single line, just one transaction. We picked that up. I think the June expiration will give us a little bit more time to catch any potential run up. Is it going to be very volatile? Yes, absolutely. I'm still cautious because I'm not convinced that the market is truly bullish on semis, and I'm not convinced that they're truly bearish either. But we are currently green on these contracts, and they kind of bought these at a decent area, running into a little bit of resistance around starting around 275. OI shows that they are still in that position, so a cautious shag for me.
I'm with it. I'm not going to bet
All right.
against you. So yeah, let's roll out.
Well, it's that time. It's
All
that time
right.
where we answer all the questions that come in, and this week we got one from One Time. And the question is, what is VWAP and how can I incorporate that into my trading? I did ask if we could play the Cardi B, song, but there might be some rights that we got to pay for, and we ain't got time for that. So anyway, um, let's get right on into it.
Cool.
Yeah,
You want to
like
read the question?
VWAP is this line on
Oh,
my
sorry,
chart
you do.
that's important, and I look at it, and so when it gets near it, I'm like, wow, it's near this little line, so I need to pay attention. And if it goes above it, I feel good, and if it goes below it, I usually feel bad. That's how, and I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but VWAP is a very important line to have running through your charts to give you an idea on what the overall sentiment is within that given time frame. So very important line for me.
So it's also an important line for me. I use it as a general guide, just an area of support or resistance. Especially, there's going to be days where some tickers really respect that 34. You'll see that on a trending day, every retest is to that 34 line. So it's, for me, it's to be used as a general area of support or resistance, depending on which way you're playing.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, it's just another indicator on the chart for me. I do use it as an area of support or resistance, depending upon if we're below. Basically, you only want to use it on a intraday time frame. So VWAP is calculated intraday. So it's not good if you're looking at it like on multi-day time frame. So anything longer than one trading session. Right. So I keep hearing people say sometimes, hey, I wonder what I get DMs sometimes. Can you look at VWAP and after hours? No. Or can you look at VWAP on a daily time frame? No. This would only be a indicator that is used intraday, and basically, how it's calculated is the average price of a stock weighted by the total trading volume. So again, some people kind of get caught up in it being the end all be all. Are we above VWAP? Are we below VWAP? Do we need to go down and test VWAP? Are we a long ways away from VWAP? And really, again, there's no one indicator that's going to be kind of the magic bullet. It should just be one kind of ingredient in your overall mix on your chart. But just use it as a basic area of support and resistance.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't
All
know what
right.
else to say.
I don't think there's really much more to say about it. Now let's go on to our loser learning moment. Hell's Bells, what do you have for us?
Wait, hang on a second. You calling me a loser,
Heck
Marius?
no, never.
Are you calling me? Are you referring to me as the
No,
Damn,
no, no,
loser?
no.
savage.
What it had said was
I
we're
just
going to
want to
talk
be
about
clear that
a
I
learning
understand.
opportunity.
All right. So I kind of touched a little bit on this at the beginning of the show. When we had all the news coming out on banks, and then we're going to save some banks and let some banks fail, and then the Fed's going to pump money because everybody's going to die and lose all their savings, and there's going to be bank runs and all that kind of stuff. Then everybody's going to lose their jobs, and so they're going to die again some more. Remember all those headlines and all that kind of stuff? That was every reason in the world to kind of probably not buy calls and maybe look for some type of a pullback. That turned out to be the stupidest thing you could have possibly done in any capacity because the market went ahead and rallied about 300 points at that point. So for me, in looking at this, I think it's always good to be self-aware. When you get something right, you want to pound your chest and be like, yeah, I got it right. When you get something wrong, you got to go ahead and own it and be like, I got it wrong. I got that wrong. I was looking at this from the overall standpoint that the market was due for a pullback based on what we were seeing. We were hearing everything from recession to war to this to that. It's like, if you're not going to risk off now, when are you going to risk off? Apparently never, ever. We've seen our last red candle between now and the end of time. It's kind of the way this run of the market has kind of like
To the end of
treated
time.
treated that type of mentality. But I think more important than anything, in order to be good at this game, you have to be self-aware. You have to be willing to call yourself out. You have to be willing to say, you know what, I got it wrong. I got it
Absolutely.
wrong. So I can either continue the path of getting it wrong, or I can suck it up, acknowledge it, and take steps forward to be like, you know what? Let's turn the page, turn the chapter. Let's start anew with a new mindset and be like, let's get this, instead of waiting for this waterfall of red candles that they've apparently eliminated all the red candles that exist within the market. We don't get any more. They're gone
I
forever.
think those are outlawed by this point. I
Oh,
don't think the market's allowed
we're
to
not
have a
allowed.
red
Yeah.
candle.
Just felt like this, guys. It's like it's and I do. The bad part is I'm sitting here watching flow. I'm sitting here watching level two, and I'm understanding it's like the algos are ready to buy before people even hit sell. It's like if they were like, "Oh, you're going to sell? Okay, oh yeah, we'll take that. We'll take some more that you're thinking about at the same time." It's like it was just set up that way. The chart was set
Agree.
up that way. It's like you can look at it a million different ways. This is one of those moments in time that if you do not own your shit at the end of the day, you ain't shit. And that's the only
The
way
only
that I can really say it. You
the
gotta
only
own
thing
it.
I would
You
just
got it
the only
wrong.
thing I would just add to that, folks, for any newer traders is just, really quickly, don't beat yourself up, right? Because if you put
Yeah.
on something and you're looking for, a setup, if it doesn't work out, that's just how the market goes sometimes. So don't beat yourself up. And I agree with Hells. Just kind of get a fresh mindset, move on to the next one. Don't keep looking in the rear view.
The guys are right. And we're going to go on to our next segment, which is our weekly winner. And this week, I'm going to actually just give you guys an update. If you guys remember, maybe 3-4 weeks back, 5 weeks back, we talked about Weight Watchers. Um, just as a reminder, we bought leaps. We bought 7.5 calls out to January 2025. If you look at that chart, you'll see we have moved up. We are nice and green on those. We're now over the 34 day moving average on a longer time frame, which I like a lot. Analysts are also coming out more and more positive. Again, that weight management, the combination with the weight loss drugs is the buzzword for right now. So just an update there. Those are nice and green. Still holding those. We'll keep watching charts. We'll keep an eye on news, and we are just gonna watch for continued upside. And that's what I
Woo!
have.
Get
Is it
that cash.
politically correct to say weight management? Can we say that?
So I thought, okay, so I kept saying weight loss, but everything I read keeps saying weight management. I thought maybe that's supposed to be like the nice way to say weight loss. I don't know, weight
I
management.
don't know. I don't know. They are performance enhancing drugs. Are those okay now?
Um, sure,
No,
sure.
yeah, I don't know about that one, Hells. You
Why
might
not?
want to run that. Yeah, Google that one, Hells. You might want to look up that one after hours, brother, if you some up there.
Look, Amari, great, honestly, great trade. You got in. I bagged on it. I'm still looking at it as being like, okay, I don't get it. It's fine. But it's like it's working for you. That's all that matters. Keep on raking. Keep on raking that
Yep.
cash.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, just like at the Oscars, I hear that music. We know what that means, folks. That it brings us to the end of our show. Very glad to have y'all. Please make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube. That way you get those alerts when we're ready to go live and there is a new episode. So, for everyone here, we hope that you learned and had a great time this week, and we will see you next time. That is it for this week's edition of Black Box Beat. Stay green, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See y'all later.